Welcome to Hacklab Solutions' second Safety Roundtable. Our topic of discussion today is India's Safety Vision 2030. As India continues its journey towards becoming a stronger industrial, economical, and technological force, safety must not be seen as just a compliance requirement, but as a core pillar of national progress. Whether in manufacturing, energy, infrastructure, pharmaceuticals, logistics, or emerging sectors, the future of growth in India must also be safe, resilient, and implementation driven. India has made meaningful progress in safety over the years. Awareness has grown, standards have strengthened, and many organizations are giving safety greater importance than ever before. Yet, significant challenges remain. The real question today is no longer about identifying the issue, but about solving them in ways that are practical, scalable, and truly suited to Indian industries, Indian workforce, and Indian operations realities. Today's conversation is about moving beyond diagnosis and towards direction. It is about understanding what India's safety vision for 2030 should look like, what industry must do differently, and how we can build systems that are practical, scalable, and rooted in execution. I'm truly honored to be joined by an outstanding panel of leaders today. We have with us Mr. Urvesh Wala, a highly experienced leader in materials, corrosion, integrity engineering, and green energy system. With deep expertise across hydrogen, cryogenic, nuclear, and advanced industrial projects, he brings an important perspective on how India can build safety into the industries of the future. We also have Mr. Vivek Asthana, General Manager, Corporate EHS and Sustainability at Symbiotic Pharma Lab. With more than 3 decades of experience across the pharmaceutical industry, he brings rich insight into safety culture, EHS system sustainability, and practical implementation at scale. He has very recently launched his book, ESG from Principle to Practice, which is available on Flipkart, and he is an ESG Institute accredited certified professional. Joining us today is Mr. Subbarao, Senior Advisor at Cholamandalam MS Risk Services and a board level leader associated with multiple organizations. His perspective brings an important governance and strategic risk lens to this discussion, especially on how safety must be viewed at the leadership and enterprise level. And finally, we are also joined by Dr. Steffi James, Associate Professor in the Department of Safety and Fire Engineering, and a respected HSE trainer and auditor. With a strong blend of academic depth and industry consulting experience, he brings valuable insights into safety education, capability building, and practical implementation. Today's format will be open-ended and conversational. I will pose broad questions to the panel, inviting each one of them to share their perspective and build on the discussion as it evolves. So with that in mind, let us begin our conversation. So today's first thing I would like to ask each one of you, like about your safety journey, what brought you in, or how do you think it has developed in India over time?
Yeah.
And yes,
Should I take the lead to
yes, sir.
start with? Yeah. So, like, if you consider Indian safety related awareness, yes, of course, it is growing to the large extent. But yes, of course, the need is beyond what our expectation is. So, what meaning of this is we in India we always have a reactive safety rather than risk-based or life cycle safety management style, which normally we want to adopt as a culture,
Mhm.
because if you understand the lesson learned globally related to safety, so that comes through various organizations like CCPS, which is normally going to tell you about the global safety requirements. Based on that, if you say OSAs, there also you find certain clarity or simplicity with respect to standard understanding. Also, HSE standards, which is normally give you ALARP, that is called as low as reasonably practicable methodology, that is to adopt to mitigate the risk or to reduce the risk to the large extent. So in India, the broadly based on my understanding with respect to uh, process safety, which is there in EPC operating plants, is to be bring it to the next level. Also, life cycle risk assessment, that is to be start from design to constructions to operations to decommissioning activities in entire EPC, or you can say plant operations requirement. Also, I am in opinion that engineering controls over administrative controls are important for us to bring safety in culture.
Mhm. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Uh, Vivek, sir, you want to go next?
Yes, thank you, Amber. Amber, from me, in fact, you told that there is a significant improvement in the field of safety. It's okay, I agree. But what's about this? We already had certain rules, certain regulations like MSASC rule, okay, SMPV rules, Factory Act was in place, and we already have this SHE policy which came into force during 2009. But what's about implementation? Is this implementation is satisfactory? So we are lacking somewhere, and this is called culture.
Mhm.
Unless and until we build this safety into entire fabric of this, see, if you are working in industry, so this safety must be imbibed across this fabric of business. Yeah. Correct.
Mhm.
So I think culture change is very important, and we
Mhm.
must collectively, government and private sector, we must think over it. How can we change this culture across the sectors, industry sector and government sector also?
Mhm. Okay, sir. Thank you. So coming to Steffi, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Sir, what has your journey been in this safety industry, and what brought you
Yeah,
into this? You are a
yeah, yeah.
professor, so tell me about that.
So, in my perspective, after the Bhopal tragedy in 1984, there are a lot of changes happened in safety field. But still, if you talk about little statistics, on an average, three
Mhm.
workers die and around 11 are injured every day in Indian factories. That is the statistics from the formal sector, because we have about 90% of the workforce is in the informal economy or unorganized sector. We have a lot of people. There is a lot of underreporting cases are also. So India being called the most somewhat dangerous country as per ILO badges, we can ignore
Okay.
heading into 2030. So we need mainly a national policies there. OSH policy at the workplace, it was adopted by OSH code is there 2020, but the real question is whether it will be operationalized across all states before 2030. That's
Mhm.
another thing. And also the OSH framework largely to the organized sector. So there are a lot
Mhm.
of people are working in unorganized sector. So a meaningful safety vision 2030, we cannot ignore the agricultural field, construction side, the micro enterprises where the majority of the workers are employed. And also we have
Right.
to, another point we have to remember, we have to increase the enforcement. Factory inspector,
Mhm.
there are lack of factory inspectors. According to the statistics, we say around 900 factories, one inspector in Delhi. For 900 factory, only one
Mhm.
inspector. So see the enforcement, how they can enforce. And so the
Mhm.
key improvements needed include unified legislation and expanding occupational safety and health protection to the unorganized sector through specialized program. That is my suggestion. So without adequate inspectors
Mhm.
backed by the authority and accountability, no vision can be translated to the reality. That's my point of view. Brief.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for sharing that.
I just add into what we discuss is like What is truly said by other speakers, like in India, that is normally we have a compliance rather than risk intelligence or prevention's thought. So we have to update ourselves from compliance to the
Exactly.
requirements. So because it is very much important that not only just is a compliance. So as truly said that 900 companies and one inspector is really a matter to us related to safety, where we normally address high risk sector like construction, which is our major stack in
Exactly.
India, because India is in the growing country where construction is happening each and every place. Also, there is a manufacturing, chemical sector, logistic. Again, now after the war, we come to know that logistic again important sector which we not known before the war happened. So that also plays an important role with respect to safety. That also to be addressed when we are talking about safety to the large extent. Also, the data-driven safety that is to be in place. Also, as truly said by Professor Saab, that skill development is also important for building safety with respect to all the compliance, because the safety inspector is not only responsible, rather each and every one of us who enter into any construction site or manufacturing area, we must adopt this, and it start from the top management. Because
Right, sir.
when we say the top management visited site, so if they have a habit to ask PPs, that will help individual to adopt those PPs related stuff uh, during their day in and day out activity.
Right, sir. So I can.
I have few points to share, Amber. I feel all points that were said are very relevant, fantastic. I have a couple of viewpoints. First viewpoint is that we don't have adequate data coming in, right? And our data lags by 2 years or 3 years, I don't know, and how far it is true. One study recently has done shown that in the northern India, one state, the official statistics showed say X number of fatalities, but the serious injuries. The ground reality, when it was done a manual survey, they found 20x.
Okay.
Yeah, so the difference is so much. So when we don't know what we are trying to correct, what we will correct, according to me, that is the fundamental thing that we need to fix. Like if you are able to integrate more than 1.6 lakh police stations across the country on one single system and get crime data on a real-time basis, I don't understand why we cannot have a national level grid tracking all the incident statistics and other things. So we need to work on that kind of systems, according to me, because once we know these are the areas, these are the problem areas, this is where we are missing. That is point one. Point two is that in many companies now, the ratio between regular employees and contract workmen has reached above 60-70%. Okay. And as professor has mentioned, in construction sector, the attrition is minimum 40 to 50%. Now, what is that we are trying to onboard them? Will a 2-hour session will make a agricultural laborer a construction worker? I really don't know. So the second thing that need to fix, and also we have to see it in different layers. There are very high risk industries, medium risk industries, low risk industries, and the gig workers, and the SMEs and all that. See, in a country where 2,200 MH industries are there, and of course, I think another 700 which the factories department identified, we don't have a PSM standard. Even though OSHA promulgated PSM 20 years back, we don't have PSM standard. We are shy. I don't know why, but then we don't have that thing. And of course, our legislation is also lagging behind in terms of regulation versus the sector emerging.
Okay.
I'll give you a classic example. Wind turbine guy says, because as per the Factories Act, you need to have minimum 5, now 10 kind of thing. No place they have 10 workers because every windmill is separated by some 500 meters, 700 meters. So he says he will not come under any act.
Okay.
So similarly, our lag in legislation is minimum 3 years to 5 years, sometimes 7 years. Like battery storage is coming up. Your electrical charging stations are coming up, but we are yet to come up with regulation. Of course, the hydrogen and other things. Then, of course, we also talked about culture, which is not mentioned in any statutes, but everyone talks about it. So those are the issues that we are trying to, we should try to address. I think that is the answer to your question, that where we are in term. See, our thing is that, according to me, safety crisis is not a mystery, according to me. It's a choice that we made ourselves. Correct, na?
Yes.
So we feel that it's a mystery. The data is hidden. Contract workforce is excluded. PSM culture is absent. Emergency sectors are not there. Then how can we do something? So it is a choice that we are having. So it is a time that we make a different choice. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. So thank you for sharing your views on this. So let me put forward our first question. So as we have a very diverse panel today with us from different industries, what do you think are top burning issues that Indian safety industry must address as we move forward to 2030?
Yes, Amber. Yes,
Vivek sir, yes sir.
very first thing. See, recently, Government of India came with this uh, labor code reforms and health and safety code, new health and safety codes in November 2025. See, now question is again the same. How can we implement? See, this change can be a game changer, right? But question is again this: how we are going to implement this, and up to what level we will be successful in this implementation. Correct. See, very well said by Mr. Suvarao and my other friends that government must think from a different perspective, like number of industry versus number of factory inspectors. First thing. Second thing, last I don't know whether should I quote or not. 2 or 3 months back, I got an opportunity to attend an event where this factory inspector was, I saw this, that factory inspector was dominated by the district collector. And in front of me, district collector has taken some foolish decisions. I just give you an idea about this politics, internal politics. So, and I felt that that person was really very frustrated. Okay. So government of India must think that, like NIA, like CBI. So we should think of out of the box. We should establish a, because you see how many incidents are taking place in India. How can we compromise with this? Okay. So government of India must establish an independent body who will work independently and should report to, and it should be centralized. And under this centralized body, there must be some safety officers, or sorry, safety inspectors, some facilitators who must be empowered in every city and every district. Okay. See, we cannot say that this will put burden on MSME. This will put burden on this industry. No, this is not like that. You can say this is all about the human psychology. A common person, he behaves differently at bus stand, government bus stand, differently at railway station, and differently at airport. Correct. At airport, that person becomes very decent. Okay, I give you an example. I will not take much time.
Right.
I'll give you an example. See, during 80s, there is a medicine category of medicine that is called amoxicillin, cephalosporin, cefixime. Okay, this category, this ampicillin. So this category is called under is categorized as a beta lactam group. Correct. So during 80s in US, there was an incident of contamination of beta lactam into another drug, and there was one fatality just due to this allergic reaction of beta lactam. So what US government has what they have done. They revised their the regulations 21 CFR, and they put the clause that beta lactam facility must be dedicated, so that there should not be any contamination uh, in any case. So, and India is a very big market. Indian pharmaceutical industries abide um, FDA rules. They are following all the rules.
FDA
They are
rules.
putting a lot of money on this. But when we talk about the safety, we are going to compromise. No, for MSME, this is not possible.
Sir, I have a slightly different view. The current thinking, I'll tell you, because uh, I was secretary to the committee which is writing the OSH rules, okay, OHS code rules. The mandate given was that make it as simple as possible, and it should be ease of doing business. Under the ease of doing business, there will not be many rules. You take it from me, the rules will be very simple. The idea is that you as a person, you as a owner, CEO or director, you should be responsible for the activity you are doing. But how far it will be successful in India when you don't mandate certain things is a question mark, as you very well raised. But the challenge here is that uh, the cost of doing business because of regulations is also coming up in a big way, because your competitiveness is getting eroded. So how do we strike a balance? What you said is I 100% agree. Whether our country deserves that risk-based approach, light regulations, or should we have very prescriptive regulation is a debate for this thing. But some things can be done. According to me, the main problem is we call it as knowing doing gap. Means you know but you don't do, you don't know, you don't do. So like that there are four definitions are there. So what I see in many companies is the capability gap, sir. If we are, I'll give you one simple statistics. We did a small research recently. 1,000 colleges offering electrical engineering course in India, in as per recognized under AICTE. When you look at it, only 19% are having electrical safety as a course in electrical engineering. Now you tell me, I am not taught anything in my college days, and I join a big company, oil and gas or a petroleum or whatever it is, and the day one from the gate itself, you are saying safety, safety, safety. I wonder what is this subject.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
So we need, according to me, we need to correct the gap of competence first at every level. I'm not saying worker or anything, even at the CEO level. You tell me which IIM, ISB is offering even a one-day program on ESG and safety, sir. Please tell me.
See, one thing, Mr. Subarao, what is happening?
If it is so important as
in
we
fact,
are discussing
you're right,
here.
correct. In fact, what problem I am facing, when I interview the persons at the level of manager or senior manager level, I find lot of gap within their curriculum and versus the practical knowledge, practical requirement. Correct. For example, there is a many institutes which are providing the course on BTech on fire and safety. But when this student, after getting 4 to 5 years experience, taking 4 to 5 years experience, when they come to me and I ask them a question about the basics of, the chemical handling. See, chemical handling is a very basic flashpoint and all the things. How will you handle flammable chemicals? They fail to explain me the right way. Correct. So somewhere there is a gap in our curriculum. Safety is not safety is not imbibed in our curriculum. First thing. Second thing is like GMP. See, pharma. In pharma industry there is a different this one vertical. Either students are coming from candidates are coming from chemical engineering background or pharmacy. So pharmacy there is a extensive course. Correct. So biotechnology, okay, the people come from this to our company, but the basic knowledge, very basic. See, a side effect of that medicine. Sorry, suppose I am manufacturing a very basic drug, amoxicillin, and there are certain side effects, and the exposure is there to worker. But after after long exposure, after long experience, the managers and supervisors, they don't know about the hazard of that that powder, medicine API powder. Correct. So this is the gap. I think we
Right, sir.
must think over the rescheduling of our reconstruction of or modification in our curriculums, especially which are meant for safety, like BTech in safety or yeah.
Right.
Yeah, see, the orientation has to change, sir. The orientation of, first of all, we need to recognize this is a problem.
Hmm.
That's what I'm trying to say. We don't have data to say that it's a problem.
Like,
So when we don't recognize it as a problem, no solution is emerging. And, you and me have seen whenever there is an accident, call safety department is the main thing that is being heard
no,
now
no, no,
also
no. That's
in
not changed.
2026 also. Has it changed? It has not
So,
changed,
sir,
right?
Yeah.
I want to bring in
So
Dr.
yeah,
Steffi James. So he works with the curriculum and the academics.
Yeah,
So, Dr. Steffi, how
academics.
do you view this
yeah, yes,
conversation?
yes. I just want to add 2 3 points. So India was experiencing, if you take past 3 weeks, more than 60 workers died in 3 major explosions. Everybody know the incident include the Vedanta boiler blast happened recently, and firecracker factory explosion happened in Tamil Nadu and Kerala in our place. So around 1,000 people every year is dying in Indian factories. So, and also we can see in Delhi, Delhi has been the scene of some of the deadliest factory accidents, including in 2019, fire that killed 43 sleeping workers. Even a brand new HPCL refinery waiting inauguration went up in flames. So here in India, we have 145 crores of people. Life is so cheap. Life is so cheap. Factories operate without fire exits, with overloaded electrical systems, poorly maintained boilers. Hazardous chemicals are stored without safeguards. And the problem, government doesn't have data. What Subbarao sir rightly said, the data are very scarce. We don't have any such reporting systems. We used to do risk assessment based on American data, CCPS data, ORIDA data. We don't have data. So the national policy should include improving the data collection. Data collection.
Sir, one thing, India right now is the biggest generator of data, and we don't
Yeah.
have data in our
Yes, we
industry.
are continuous in reduction in the work related injuries.
yeah. See, there are cultural factors in this,
Yeah.
sir. Cultural
Yes.
factors are there in Professor. So normally, what I say, jokingly, we believe in the theory of fate, right? Yeah. So like today podcast, I am from London and you guys are in some parts of India is a fate, right? So accident happening is a fate. First. Second is safety is expensive, has gone into our system. That's why you find seat belts were not mandatory in the rear seat for many years. Blinkers were not mandatory. Helmet was not mandatory. Everything is expensive. Third is, our attitude, you see, when we build, I recently went to one power plant. The cooling tower is some 230-meter high. Next to the cooling tower, there was a inaugural plaque kind of thing. I asked, its factory is not inaugurated. What is this plaque? They said, sir, some 5 workers lost their lives. That's why we put that plaque in memory of them for building cooling tower. So when I asked, is it acceptable? Sir, इतना ऊंचा बड़ा बना रहा है तो 2-3 आदमी तो गिर जाएगा ना. So if our attitude is like that is at a very senior level I'm talking about. I'm not talking about. So if our mentality is that जो होने वाला है वो हो जाएगा, then nothing can be done to prevent. So we need to address that culture part of it, because why that disconnect is there. I'll give you a simple example, sir. Kaushik sir will tell me SOPs, why the worker is not following at the ground level. Because the guy who writes, the guy who practices, the gap is so wide.
And one more point I just want to add. Correct. By 2030, our vision, we need to, in a digital real-time national incident reporting and tracking system, similar to that what European Union has. And also a technological change. Technology is a game changer. We are in right now the industry 4.0 technologies will revolutionize. We have to revolutionize our workplace safety. Smart sensors, AI-based risk prediction models are there. So real-time monitoring and maybe the wearable tech to monitor worker health and fatigue and automation in hazardous tasks that can significantly reduce the workplace incidents. By Vision 2030 must
Right.
embed digital safety as a core pillar, probably. That is all.
Yeah,
Right.
I just add my
Purvesh sir,
I
yes.
just add my view on this topic is discussed in the length, but I just want to highlight based on EPC prospects with respect to process industry. Like normally, learning from major global incidents are to be captured. Yes, of course. By saying that the system is not in place is not the only way out for these things, but at least we must capture all the lesson learned based on the incidents which happened, as truly mentioned by all the speakers. So those things is really good for us to if you want to make India stronger with respect to safety, then the most disastrous failure which we have, as listed by Professor in Tamil Nadu and other part of India, that is to be understood with respect to not only that it happened, but we have to understand that what is lagging behind those incidents and what knowledge is required so that that should not occur again. What I understand is from the failure, we must learn that how to execute better so that it will not reoccur again. So, to understand this, what my understanding for just to take away from India is to have a very good system where we have a failure in execution. So, like what it means is, whenever any failures are there, we must instrumentalize those things with respect to the case study, lesson learned, or that how it is to be not occur again. So that part is to be addressed. Second is asset integrity. The many things what we are talking is truly said by other speakers also, like asset integrity is neglected because we are more behind the product and we are not addressing the health of the plant. Rather, we are interested with respect to our productions. And I tell you, the fact of today's refineries are so like refineries also work based on human mood. For example, we have a many festival. So sometime production is reduced, sometime production is increased. So how you think like as a metallurgist like me to design any material selections for any refinery with respect to critical safety level, I cannot judge that what upset scenario these guys are going to put into the refinery. And then this particular refinery, and then blaming comes that what the international standard like NACE, API, ESMEs are governing about the material selections. And then in India, there are a lot of accidents that happen. But nobody is taking care of the upset scenario or depressurization calculations, which is to be understood very thoroughly so that the efficiency should not cross at any point of time. So my simple takeaway from all the lesson learned which I have, that we must have a material traceability starting from the raw material to the equipment manufacturer to the end user, and we must have a proper involvement of metallurgists, experts in early stage of EPC design, so that the metallurgy part is to be taken care with respect to safety. That is what my understanding is, because I'm a part of EPCE part, so I must strengthen those that design stage, not after commissioning stage, but actually safety should start from day one. That is when we start the design of any refinery. Thank you.
In fact, Amber, please give
Yes,
me
sir.
2 to 3 minutes. Actually, what I want to add that this is a responsibility of your leadership team. Correct. So leadership must realize that if they want to sustain their business, so they cannot ignore safety. Because in today's scenario, safety is an integral part of ESG. S means social part of this one. ESG. Right. Next, the investors worldwide, investors community, they want to invest in the companies who are working on ESG because investors see the sustainability. Your business must be sustainable. Correct. Or here is another gap. The gap comes from the thinking of investors versus board of director. Correct. The board of director versus key management position and ground the senior management. So there is a lot of gap. What I have seen that investors are asking about the sustainability report. Okay, they want to see metrics. They want to see your statistics. Okay, what is the incident rate? How many incidents have taken place? Okay, I'm just asking, discussing about this safety factor, right? But I came across an incident. One of my close friend, he asked me that his MD was asking him to prepare this BRSR report. Just hire a consultant and prepare this report, sustainability report, because board of director investor asked it. Rather than establishing ESG in totality, they are again working in bits and pieces. Because the board of director, they are asking investor, asking report. Yes, this is our report. This is displayed at our website. But what about the effectiveness of? Correct. So in coming years, you can see that companies and top management will have to change. See, if they are not changing themselves, top management is not changing in spite of all the things, then role of government comes into force, like strict inspections and governance on the part of factory inspector or government bodies. Okay. Otherwise, I think there are some very basic things. If leadership, if they start their meeting with safety talk, okay, once in 3 months, they take a review of EHS. What is the performance of EHS? For 1 hour review, they can take from key management position or site management. This will drastically improve the safety because it comes from the top. Second thing, when rightly said by someone that when they are going to a shop floor, when they are to visiting the site, they should take round with the perspective of unsafe acts and unsafe condition. Okay, if top management people, they point out this unsafe act or unsafe conditions, so definitely there is no way culture will be changed.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah,
why don't we tie the CEO salary based on safety incidents in a company?
Sorry.
It's already there, Amber. It is already there. A lot of CEOs lose their variable pay, and it is down the line, it's getting enforced. But the reality of the matter is that there are many aspects to it. One aspect is that as we go down the ladder, means at the supervisor level and all, you cannot make more than 5% or 10% at variable pay linked to safety. A lot of people tend to ignore it. Okay, ठीक है यार, हम जो भी कर रहे हैं वो तो we cannot prevent everyone from doing it kind of thing. That is, so it's already there, as I know, in all the established companies. Of course, down the line, it won't be there.
Yes.
SMEs and all, it won't be there. But according to me, one interesting thing we can try in the Indian context is this supply chain, making safety as an important parameter for selecting your supplier could make a lot of difference, because I've seen that they cannot ignore their buyer. And if he says that your safety has to improve, definitely even engineering industry will go for a hydrant, which I've seen. Because there is one person argued with me. We are running this for 20 years. It's only metal. Why we require a hydrant? But when the buyer insisted that I won't buy from you, so he went ahead and spent that 90 lakhs. Otherwise, he was not willing to spend. So I think we need to bring change from many sides. Because see, today I will ask one simple question. It is always I've been asking, what is the cost of accident in India?
Yeah.
It varies from company to company. If you are a large company, it has reached 1 crore for a fatality. That is the direct cost I'm telling, because you have to announce that compensation and all that. Indirect cost could be 8 times to 10 times. But when you are down the ladder, if there is a fatality and you are a contractor and there is a fatality, the cost is still less. And I find a lot of interesting cases where there is a proper system established on how this can be managed. So the point that comes is that we all say that top management need to take interest and take part, but the know-how part of it, I feel that still there is a lot of gap. What he is supposed to do when he goes to the shop floor. So if you see, a lot of companies have said that whenever you are visiting shop floor, you have to spend exclusively for 15 minutes, go around and all. And if you see those reports, you will laugh at it. He's saying there is a puddle of water, insulation is missing, housekeeping is not there, all that. But I don't want that. I want him to have conversations with the people without his deputies, right? Skip level meetings, what we call, and then try to understand. Say he can ask, what is that you are afraid not to tell your superior? One question.
That's
Right?
true.
Yeah. What is that you are afraid that you don't want to tell your superior? And then the second thing is the follow-up action. Once that is there, what people expect, they don't expect a solution, at least an acknowledgement. Yes, he has heard and he has promised something. And then they will look for a solution, because they also know improving safety is not like a magic wand. You just say today safety has to improve. It could be hardware issues, it could be people issues. Sometimes they have to go ahead and change that section in charge. We don't know,
Yeah.
right? So there are multi dimensions to this, and different industries are struggling with the different aspects of the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing here is like what he says, right? When I was in India also, that when you have an MNC culture, so this is very true that if there is any one accident, then the CEO job is to shift from that CEO positions to the next level, or maybe he is transferred from that locations to some other location. Is very common in a good company.
MNCs, yes.
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 But yes, of course, in India, this trend is to be really bad, because the person who has to go is from the top. So that if that person is removed, all others will be alert that, yeah, if I have something in lapse with respect to safety, means the boss can replace, then I must be replaced anytime.
Yes.
So that attitude is required in our culture, so that this can be avoided.
Fear
Yes.
should be there.
No, it's
somewhat.
not a fear. It's called discipline,
It's
because
not fear.
yeah, it's a discipline.
Accountability.
Yeah. So like
Accountability
the
here.
top boss is replaced because of the accident and fatality in that particular premises. That indicates that the management has the integrity and honesty about each and every act related to safety in their place, and they have a culture adopted. So and because of that only the top boss is replaced immediately after accident, and then after the committee is going to give the report. This is what the culture is. So this is to be adopted in each Indian company, whether it is a private limited or is a limited, but that should be adopted so that the safety culture is there in the system.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
Dr. Steffi, I was just thinking, like, when you are teaching the young minds and young kids,
Yes.
right? How do you share this scenario, what India currently facing regarding safety in the real world? Like, how do you share it?
Dr. Subbarao sir already just mentioned, our education system is very, very different than a practical oriented approach, especially in technical education field, is very lack. There is a big gap between what industry need, what we are teaching in the textbook. So that has to be, we have addressed a lot of time to the universities. That's one thing we have to change. Especially, I have seen a video recently in Japan. The kindergarten people are trained, mock drill is trained. If suppose a fire happened, the kindergarten itself they are trained how we can come out from a fire incident. But in India, we have
Not
never
only that, sir, earthquake also.
earthquake also.
Earthquake
Yeah,
also, they are
yeah, yeah.
taught to go under the
Yeah,
benches.
they are
Simple thing,
experiencing a lot of
right?
vibrations
So,
every year. And in India, we don't
yeah.
have such a system at all in the primary education. I have not studied in the schools and colleges also. And our college has 156. Our state has 156 engineering colleges. Only 2 colleges offering BTech Safety and Fire Engineering. And also in other branches of engineering, they are not all studying about safety.
Mm.
No,
And
no,
in
that is
all
no. I
South
tell
India,
you, Yeah, I tell you, India must shift from blame culture to learning culture.
Learning culture, it is. Of course,
then,
of course.
then only it will possible,
Yeah, yeah,
because our system is something happens and they find a fault.
yeah.
Who has done
Who is
this problem?
the problem is?
So starting from blaming to
Uh,
learning is really important.
Very important. In education system, what I said, the gap has to be reduced, and also there is a shortage of trained occupational health manpower with deficient institutions. Institutions are not providing, competent personalities are not there, and qualification, of course, and trained modules, infrastructure, and budgetary provisions also. So the Central India needs a national certification framework probably for safety professionals, mainly
Yeah. One more
mandatory
thing.
safety engineering curriculum in a technical education, and
Actually, sir,
recognition of
I
OSH.
just wanted to
Serious
say
career
here,
path.
we should not be all doomsday concept. Under the new OSH code, under the new OSHS code, there is a OSH council which is going to be set up. Because I'm deeply involved in that, I'm saying when it will happen, you don't ask me. But
Yes.
under the OHS Council, we have identified some 28 fields where certification is required. When I mean certification, like scaffolding. Can be
Yes.
scaffolding? There is no one defining scaffolding. Who can be a HAZOP chairman? Who can be a QRA specialist? Who can be a safety auditor? Who can be a fire risk assessment? Like that. So one is that part. And the second thing is we also said there should be an investigation body for investigating major accidents in
Correct.
any of those
Yes.
things. So, and the reports to be published. As mentioned in this talk, today we are relying on CSB reports. Why we should rely on CSB
Yes.
reports and
Yes.
videos? We can have our own. Of course, in the last 25 years, I've seen only 3 reports published from India. So we
Yes,
cannot quote because the the interest to share the knowledge means in terms of what has happened with me, it should not happen to others, is not there in the country. Nobody is willing to come forward and publish his own findings and report. That is also
exactly.
one thing. So, but there is a lot of effort going on behind the scenes. I hope it will take shape that to improve the
And
curriculum at different levels. So that
one more
this
thing,
thing.
as part of
No.
Vision 2030, we have talked about industries, our industrial accidents and deaths and all. It's very less as compared to the road accidents. Industrial death is around 1,000 or 1,200 per year.
Sir,
The
that is
road
only
accident
official,
death is
sir.
1 lakh
Please don't believe
72,000.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
Please don't believe.
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
I just say one thing for India, that we have to change from compliance mindset to ownership mindset.
Okay.
That is what we want to do it.
Yeah.
Then
What
only it will happen.
what point I just want to mention, we talked about industry. Road accidents is the major fatality. 1,72,000 people are dying every year in Indian roads. See, as compared to industry, how big is we are talking about safety, not only in industry, in all sides. That
Yeah.
culture is a very important factor, and the mindset is very important factor. So, and you see the statistics, we can see around 4 lakhs to 4.5 lakhs accidents are happening in India. 1.72 lakhs people are dying, where in the United States the number of accidents are high in United States, around yeah
Death are less.
Sir, in this 1 hour, some
20
100
lakhs.
people would have died,
Yeah.
sir. That is a
20,
different story.
20 lakhs
You know.
accidents are happening, only 40,000
Yeah.
people
No,
are dying.
I just say one thing, like CBI, if you read the report of CBI, which is published, they always say that every accident is not happened because of process reasons. It is because of the personal reasons only. If you see the conclusions always say that there is, shift was changed and that person is missed to inform to the next guy, and because of that this disaster happened. So the thing is, we are talking many things about safety, but the thing is, real safety is the safety which is there in the mind of each and every person who is working at software.
Even we say the father of safety is H.W. Heinrich. He found out a theory. In that theory, 88% of the accidents are because of human error. But still,
Yes,
after 50 years, still the
it's
major
same.
reason for accident is human error. Overconfidence,
Yeah,
shortcuts, absent-mindedness.
yeah,
All these things are still. So the
yeah.
human
Right,
psychology has
right,
to
right.
be changed. The culture, attitude. So there is a lot of training. Safety has to go into the people. There are a lot of legal changes, top management changes, government policies changes, and slowly has to broad the culture, whereby
Yeah,
this
Right,
accident and
right.
right.
it will be a culture. It's
So,
safety issue. Safety
Vivek
should
sir,
not safety
what?
should not end
Yeah.
up in slogans. It should become a culture.
Yeah.
Yes, Amber.
Yes, sir. So throughout our conversation, we have some broad topics, right? So what
My
do you think?
question is
What will your
still
final
my question
thoughts
is
be?
still same. As an MD or as an CEO of of a private limited company, okay, I have I have a chain of I have a hierarchy of this managers, management, top management, key management position, site heads. Okay, so I have safety department also. So why should I uh, bother about this culture change? Okay, if something happens wrong, safety officer is responsible, safety head is responsible. Okay, kick him out, or site head is responsible, kick him out. Unless and until I shall be responsible, मेरे को और जब तक नहीं बोला जाएगा, गवर्नमेंट अथॉरिटीज अब मेरे को नहीं बोलेंगी, जब तक मेरे को पेनलाइज नहीं किया जाएगा, मैं कल्चर चेंज नहीं करूंगा. प्रॉब्लम वही आ रहा है. राइट. तो अकाउंटेबिलिटी.
Accountability.
करेक्ट करेक्ट करेक्ट. सो ठीक है, चीजें हैं. एवरीथिंग एक्चुअली एवरीथिंग कम्स फ्रॉम टॉप. सपोज you are bringing a new machinery, you are setting up a new plant, so budget is sanctioned from top management. Have you considered safety aspects while consider procurement of those machines? Have you involved safety department? Okay, if you are going to finalize the supplier, as the super sir said, okay, we have and many industries today, in today's era, they have some sustainable procurement policies in place. What they do this checklist based audit. For some for in case we have a 2 or 3 suppliers of a key raw material, we are highly dependent on them. They know the things. कि जाएंगे कहाँ, मेरे से ही खरीदना है. घर जाएंगे कहाँ, मेरे से ही खरीदना है. ठीक है, आप बोलते रहो. Right. Yes. So everywhere, unless and until government machinery is not governance is not strengthened, and top management is not asked for this thing, okay, I think it is very difficult to change the culture, because for this culture change program, they have to involve. टॉप मैनेजमेंट विल हैव टू इन्वॉल्व. बजट उनको देना पड़ेगा. मैंने अपने यहाँ किया हुआ 2-3 कंपनीज मैंने किया था. चोलामंडलम कोई मैंने हायर किया था. दे केम, कंडक्टेड गैप असेसमेंट. यस. And we made a comprehensive plan for this safety culture change. Correct. So
Okay, sir. So Vivek sir says top-down
Definitely.
approach should be followed.
So I have
Right.
2 points here,
Yes.
Amber. I feel that while as a top management approach, I also feel that safety officers and safety managers also have to introspect a bit more on what is that they can do differently. So because every organization has a safety policy, as we majority of the organization, but the problem is the safety reality. The distance between the vision policy and the reality is the execution gap. If we can strengthen that execution gap and make it very simple, what is applicable to them, they need not know the whole thing. Even if we can make toolbox, simple thing you do,
correct.
then your CEO or senior management
Correct.
going to the field, and he's going to the field and coach him what he has to ask that 10-15 minutes, come back and have a feedback. So we should also, I have only one metric when I ask senior management. Every senior manager says he goes to the field. I'll ask only one question. What is the change you have done after visiting the field? Correct, na? You have learned something, and you have all the authority to change anything in the organization, from policy to system to people to everything. What is the one thing you have changed? You ask yourself. That is the effectiveness. I don't want you to go every week. You go once in a month or once in a quarter also is okay with me. But one change you make from learning deep, right? Because as a CEO,
Right.
you will understand when someone gives an answer, where exactly is the problem. You will see the story behind it, correct?
Yes.
So unless we reduce that execution gaps in small steps, from toolbox talks to induction to our accident investigation to CEO, few things we start correcting, culture will automatically improve. See, nobody walks into a factory to die that day, right? I'm not getting into what I would say inside a factory gate or getting into a car to die. I want to live my life. So how we can be enablers rather than this thing is, I think, something that we should think of.
Sure, sir. So I would go to Urvesh sir, your final comments before we close.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So I just summarize all our journey based on at least my EPC part, as other areas are already covered. So, like what I say is, leadership must make safety as a core value, not just a priority, as many speakers say in a similar way. Also, the goal zero fatality or safety issue that becomes a culture in any operational in the industry, not just a policy. So this is what I just want to say. With that, based on my understanding, for India, the path forward is very clear in terms of the EPC mindset that enable safety in design and engineering first, rather than we are talking on ground, because the design is giving more strength that the failure will not occur physically at site. So that is first part. Second is strengthen the material and corrosion expert so that they can give and predict the asset life correctly, because their role is to design material, and the material is the major stack for any accident which happens. So the material should be so strengthened with respect to the refinery or any petrochemical complex design. So that makes a sense. Third is implement risk-based asset integrity system in place. Normally, this system is not there in any Indian culture. When I see EPC projects bid document, there they don't have like RBI, risk-based inspections, or RCM, reliability center maintenance study concept in design phase. Rather, they are using this, but they are not having much adhere to that particular requirement. As truly said by other speaker, that in India we don't have a culture that, and even we publish only 3 safety issues so far in a year, which says that the risk-based approach is not in place. Also, I emphasize on ensure contractor safety alignment, as it is many times it says that for staff it is given, but for contract labor, this particular arrangement is not so correctly specified. So that part is also required to be at a higher level. And lastly, that we have to make a culture that normally giving good safety environment. And with that, what I understand is now AI/ML tools are there in place. There are now the generations which is now going to face the environment are quite advanced. So rather going in a traditional way for writing up the things, we must have a QR code, or we must have a certain alarm systems, or there are certain AI/ML tool by which they ask questions and they get safety immediately at any place. And one more culture we want to adopt is to allow each and every individual, irrespective of his designations, to take decisions for safety when there is some issue at
So
site.
finally,
Thank you.
ending with Dr. Steffi, what are your last the small comments for the future?
I think, what should I say? Awareness, top management commitment, the government policy has to come. And after all, every individual life is very important. A fan or equipment is damaged, we can replace, no problem. Here in India, life is so cheap, that's a major problem. If a man died, another man we can replace. That's a culture. That should not be. Every individual is important. You see the thumb impression. There is nobody has the same thumb impression in the entire world with 8 billion people. So one person is died, we cannot replace another person. That has to be, a humanity has to be come into our system, and that culture has to lead. Thereby, we can build a safer 2030 as part of centenary celebration of 2047, Vikasit Bharat. So that has to come, and that's it. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for giving us your time today. I would just like to say at the end that this has been a really nice and wonderful conversation. And like Dr. Steffi said, we are moving towards the target of Viksit Bharat. but at every step we need to have some milestone and recheck ourselves, where are we and what needs to be done moving forward. So it was great having all of you here.
Thank you.
Thank you and
Thank
have
you,
a nice
Amber.
day. Take care.
Yeah.
Thank you, all of you.